And over 50% of murder victims and over 60% of murderers. That is quite significant. Now, what is the reason? What is the source? Many times it is female infidelity, feminine infidelity, dishonest wives, cheating girlfriends. I believe the term is thirsty. Yep, this first one. Dead man wrapped in plastic on his boss's property. Was having sex with his boss's wife. Alright, let's see what this news thing that automatically popped itself onto my phone has to say. Crime. Slain man found wrapped in plastic was allegedly having an affair with boss's wife. Now boss and wife were charged. So this guy had sex with his boss's wife, and she helped kill the guy along with her husband for having sex with her. So that's one death wrapped in plastic. Female perpetrator involved. Apparently, she didn't do anything wrong, I'm sure. They were found on his property here. Sisters, 11 and 13, found dead alongside man in suspected murder-suicide. I'll have to read that one too, The top two here, men, of course. We try to put men at the top in the forefront. Here's the second one. Man arrested for allegedly wrapping woman in several layers of plastic. Might have been some sort of a sick pervert, no doubt. Woman accused of killing roommate allegedly soaked herself in. She looks almost smug. Husband accused of killing his wife's lover and beating him to death. Well, that's another one involving women. So far, seems to me primary perpetrators are men or co-conspirators with women. And a lot of these women did act semi-alone, quasi-alone, but in many of them, they used other men to do it. Or they had other men commit the crimes. So then, of course, because she manipulated an idiot into murdering people, now it's all men's fault. Meanwhile, is it that man who did something wrong? Yeah, messing around with your boss's wife is probably a dumb thing to do. A ring don't plug a hole, but it don't plug a shotgun either. Don't fuck around with anyone's wife. Don't fuck around with anybody's husband. By the way, there's several of them here wrapped in plastic because they had sex with a woman. It doesn't say rape. It doesn't say molestation. It says he was cheating. But of course, the top two here, they have to make sure that we put men at the forefront. Make men out to be the primary perpetrators, and they're absolutely not. You'll notice in most of these cases that women are the primary perpetrators. The marital infidelity, things that a woman chose to do in that first one, were the cause of that whole situation. I wonder which one killed him. Does it matter? Then we've got two men. One of them killed a woman and wrapped her in plastic, just like in the first story. This one right here, sisters 11 and 13, found dead alongside man. I wonder if the man was related. Chances are pretty good that he was. This woman who killed her roommate. Here's another one, husband accused of killing his wife's lover. Again, marital infidelity, and she was the cheater. He's going to prison, and there's a man who's dead. That's why you don't mess with a married man. My older brother says a ring won't plug a hole. Well, a ring won't plug a shotgun either. Alright, so that one's, again, women. Here, again, woman sentenced for luring man to depraved murder at hands of gang members.
Focus.
Ha! A woman as the lure. This is a common police tactic. The two people that they like to use to lure the most are women and pedophiles. Oh yeah, sex offenders are great for luring somebody who hates pedophiles. The next one, now these are nearly all with the exception of the two that they use as highlights. The top two as highlights are men. Nearly all the rest of them are women. Mom sent to prison for life after feeding cow's milk to infant. Here, op-ed. Indicted black Trump supporters exhibited house slave behavior. What did I tell you? I told you the Samuel L. Jackson motherfucker from the movie Django. You can see a bunch of these dumb son of a bitches supporting Jason Aldean right now. This one right here, the girl is talking about how her daughter is a racist bully. Her daughter. Here's one with Kim Kardashian she's thirsty, ain't she? It says so, she's thirsty. Another one about Halle Berry's daughter. Oh my God.
Meanwhile, most of the stuff those women are bitching about, it's fucking trivial shit. Who gives a fuck? When it comes to the murders and the missing people, who cares about Halle Berry and Kim Kardashian, really? If you do, you're what the problem is with the world. Alright? Now those other ones, primary perpetrators as far as the actual violence goes, well, the ones that it was men who perpetrated the violence, it was obviously the men. The ones where it was the women who perpetrated the violence, pretty obvious it was the women. But also you see the ones where it's very specifically a man, and most of those, it was over his wife cheating. There's only one of those where it's not involving her. There was more situations involving women in death, and you get to see, the man is probably going to be the one who's called the primary perpetrator, and realistically, he's more likely to be the one who's able to overpower. Now you look at that woman and her husband, the ones that were cheating, the guy was cheating with his boss's wife. Now his boss and his boss's wife are going to jail or prison for it. Well, here's the thing. She's a big woman. She might be able to overpower a man. Depends on how little he is and how desperate he was to keep his job. So she got to have sex. Chances are pretty good she's gonna get off on the actual murder part. She'll get assisted murder or assisted manslaughter or something like that. Same thing with the other women's in the same situation or similar. And this is almost every day, folks. I mean, women are more likely to be the perpetrators. They are more likely to kill their own children. Now, yesterday and the day before, that's pretty much what it was full of. Women who had killed their children, and then a man who had killed his children who took the cake. He took top prize yesterday. We put men in the top spot, and we advertised the shit out of it to say that men are horrible. Here's one article about a horrible, horrible, horrible man. Oh, and here's a couple little tiny segments about a shit ton of women who did the same thing or worse. Oh, I didn't know my husband was gonna kill him. Oh, I love my husband. I was just lonely. Or, oh, I was afraid of my husband. That's why I did it. I was hoping he was going to rescue me. I just went along with my husband because I was scared. He was a cheating asshole. You didn't want to pay any consequences. Now there's consequences, aren't there? Yeah, you thought you'd manipulate men. You thought you'd get away with it because the current stigma. Well, guess what? You'll probably still get away with it. It's somehow always his fault. Well, you know what? If he killed the other man, yeah, it is his fault. But somehow, magically, her cheating on her husband is going to be made out to be her being some innocent victim in all this. Huh? Usually, yeah. Of course, it's hard to believe the media or the police these days. They've been defunded, so they're spending what little money they have. It's not little money, it's a lot of money. Spending a lot of money to try to improve their public image by taking pictures with your children and exploiting your children on the internet, on their Facebook. That's right, these police agencies have Facebooks, and they're posting up pictures of your kids. Do you consent to that? If you do, that's disgusting. Child exploitation is definitely against the law in this state. How about yours? Meanwhile, how much would it cost to take one of these houses here in Tillamook, any empty house anywhere around here? Or even easier, in a place like Nebraska, Kansas, Colorado, Oklahoma, New Mexico. How much does it cost to lock up a homeless person for a year? Over $100,000. How much would it cost to fix up these houses all shiny and new? Far less than $100,000. Far less than $100,000. Let's say you have shitty tenants living in that house. Let's say they do $17,000 worth of damage to that house every year. It is still cheaper for you to repair $17,000 worth of damage than it is for you to have the person locked up for $100,000 plus per year. Just saying. You know, instead of fining people for being victimized into poverty, instead of fining them for being broke and locking them up when they can't pay the fines and leaving them locked up at around $10,000 a month. Well, about $8,000 a month. $8,000 per month is what it costs the American people. How much does it cost? How easy is it to spend $1 million? Well, when you figure that the business and the taxes are going to have to pay an equal amount, that's 5 police officer salaries. 5 of them. The business end of it. $500,000 for their wages and $500,000 for everything that goes on top of that for workman's comp and all of that kind of shit. Now these officers are getting paid around $100,000 a year. $100,000 a year, and I'm a disabled person, and I live on jack shit, and I live homeless, and I get treated like I have privilege because I'm a male. I'm magically able to work even if I'm not, and I'm earning $50,000 a year because I'm a male even though I'm not. You get to see here how the women do wrong shit, and when they do wrong shit, their husbands do wrong shit, their boyfriends do wrong shit. No, I'm not saying that these lovers of these wives didn't do anything wrong. But that's the thing about consent. She is not your property and you're not her property. Well, by law, you are her property, along with half of everything that you earned is her property. If you don't want to lose everything that you busted your ass for including the children that you've provided for, then you are her bitch in the United States. You as a daddy better lay down and fucking take it. If you don't, every woman in America knows, and every man has to be afraid, that she'll play like he's a horrible monster. Women manipulate men into doing violent things. And of course you would. Even though you say anything a man can do, a woman can do better. Only because you manipulated an idiot into doing it for you. Only because you work together to bully. That's how all bullies work. And women in America have been taught to bully men who say no. Taught to slander men who say no. Taught to destroy a man's life just because he said no, while they scream slogans like no means no. You're full of shit. You get to see how I set boundaries with both men and women and how they marched right over the top of it and then wanted to throw in my face that I gave them a tiny taste of equality. Over and over again. Oh, how dare you, Sean? How dare you? How dare you? Oh, fuck you. It's not wrong when you do it to me. It's only wrong if I do it back. I get it. It's not wrong for you to actually do these things, but it's wrong for me to threaten to do them back, isn't it? Like when Leslie Snell tried to give out my phone number. And I let her know that I was going to turn her in to the Nebraska State Patrol. And that if she gave my number out, I was going to give her number out. And what did she do? She played oh poor me. What a fucking coward. I don't want to be anywhere near women because I'm sick of this shit. There's no way to stop it because you're all idiots. Those of you women who are bitching that men won't approach you, well, guess what? We have to be afraid of going to jail and or prison and getting treated like a fucking pedophile or a rapist if we're not rich and good looking. We have to worry that if we explain to you something that you're obviously having an issue with, that you're going to claim that we're mansplaining. No, telling you how to change a fucking tire while you have the implements in your hand instead of showing you over and over and over again. Put your hands on the tire iron and fucking do the work. That way you're not stuck on the side of the road hoping somebody will pull over that's not going to rape you or beat you. While you tell us about how you have to be afraid if you have a flat tire that you might get raped by a man. Holy shit, then learn how to change a tire. Don't wait on a man to show up to do it. Why are you waiting on a man to fucking do it if you're afraid he's going to rape you? Why didn't you learn how to do that? Christ. It's not a man's fault that you learned how to baby trap instead of learning how to change a fucking tire. I was watching a video where 11 women, a woman posted it, and she says, how many women does it take to change a tire? And my God, those 11 women had no fucking clue what they were doing. It reminds me, when you ladies go out on a women's retreat, that's something you should probably find out before going out there. It is probably a good idea before trudging off into the woods without a man, with a vehicle that is dependent upon fucking tires, and in a place where none of you are going to get service, or you have a low probability of getting service. How many of those women knew how to change a tire? None of them. Perhaps you should probably sit down as a committee and find out if there's someone who can change a tire just in case. Just saying. If there's a men's retreat, we literally never have to worry about this. The only men's community where we have to worry about a man not being able to change a tire is if it's a trans retreat for teens. Other than that, we all know how to change a fucking tire. Or nearly all of us. We have men who grew up in the age of AAA who are going to do the same thing that a woman does. Oh, well, it doesn't matter if it costs the other insurance payers because I don't know how to change a tire. I'm going to use my insurance on a flat tire and sit there and wait for a literal tow truck to come tow my vehicle because I have a flat tire. Holy shit. Holy shit. When a man is in a situation, he's told it's his fault for being there. It's his fault he was abused because he was there. When something happens to a woman, it's every man's fault for doing nothing, right? Even if they didn't know anything was going on. And let me tell you something, when you are drunk as a fucking skunk and you are throwing yourself at a dude who's drunk as a skunk like you're a $2 fucking hooker, yeah, you wonder why nobody believes that you were raped the next day? Because you were the perpetrator. You were the one who was sexo gonzo gone fucking nuts. No, that's not a man's fault that nobody fucking believes you in that situation. Then, of course, we've got situations where several states made it so that you could not have an abortion unless it was a case of incest or if you were raped. Holy shit, lots of little girls went to the clinic claiming that they were raped by law because they were underage. It had to be turned in, so the clinic had to turn in their boyfriends when these girls just went in there and claimed that they were raped because they didn't want to have a baby and the laws changed after they were pregnant. God, trying to pop my neck. Police officer creeped by real slow. Now, obviously, if you watch my last video, the folks over there across the street, that's Charlie and his girlfriend. They know some of these people. He knows Robert Farnsworth. I did see Robert Farnsworth at the church today. By the time I realized it was him, I'd already sat down. But I titled the video before I got started because he threatened me yesterday. So, of course, what did I do? I made sure that I documented the situation. I made sure that when I spoke to Charlie about it, that I documented that too. I do have to be afraid of Chris retaliating and using the police to retaliate. He's done that with 3 different people now. Yeah, I encouraged him to call the police if there's a safety issue. He refused, saying cops are bad, cops are bad, cops are bad. Well, it seems to me he's using the cops as a tool the way that many of the business owners do. He's realized that he has this power that he didn't realize or tap into before. I acknowledge that crimes happen to women. I've also paid attention recently to the polls, to the situations with individuals and their opinions, and that is important. How do the people in your area think? I've been paying attention to what Facebook has let us know, and YouTube and Twitter. A lot of the numbers from women show that women are just overwhelming liars for the most part when it comes to abuse. That women, as I've been telling you for years, women are more likely to stalk a man than a man is to stalk a woman, and a woman is more likely to get other people involved. Gaslighting is stalking. But then we've got these hoopla nut job sites, pretending that we're being visited by aliens from other planets, pushing brainwave waves into our brains, and that's not it. That guy Nick, he's pretty scary when he's been drinking, and he believes in all that kind of stuff. He's able to keep it under wraps when he's sober, decent enough, but one beer is enough for him to go crazy. Women are the primary perpetrators in this country of nearly every crime, with the exception of sexual assault, and we've come to realize that that's not even true. It's just that men are afraid to come forward because they're more likely to go to jail. When men are beaten, they're more likely to be the one arrested. A man has to be afraid to go to the police when it comes to domestic assault or being stalked by a woman, especially if she's young and pretty. And if she's on drugs, she is very likely to use religion and her looks, like that lady on Family Feud I was showing. How much you want to bet she claims to be Christian, but she went up there and the first thing she did on Family Feud to distract her opponent, who is a male, is shake her money makers, right? She shook her memories at him. Very sexually bouncy, intentionally so. It's not like she accidentally flopped him a little bit. No, she was intentionally trying to jiggle him and get him to stare at them. And of course, what did the host do? Hit the guy. What are you doing? Dude, seriously. Don't spare her and chastise him. And for sure, for goddamn sure, don't fucking put your goddamn hands on him. Steve Harvey's a dipshit. Holy fuck. And I told you all about the house slave mentality and how much of it there is in the United States. Quite a bit. And it goes back a long time. There were card-carrying black members of the KKK in Colorado, 1920s. Yeah. It was a political party. The KKK is still real heavy here in Tillamook, Oregon. Yep. Don't mess with a married woman. She obviously doesn't care about you or her husband, and she's going to manipulate both of you. She's going to try to get one of you to kill the other one. Oh, he's so horrible. He's so horrible. He made me do it, right? Bullshit. I heard a lady back there. All right, I'm going to go back and open the store. Calm down, calm down. So I just checked to make sure that it was no big thing. It's no sort of abuse or anything like that. Everything's all right. The majority of those situations involved women doing wrong things, and it all getting blamed on the men in most cases. Thank goodness the women were charged alongside in these situations, but take a look at situations with repeat felons like Alicia Bollinger and how much she got away with just because she's young and pretty. How many times did she get away scot-free while running around with her father committing felonies? How many times was my life threatened while she was running around with her father committing felonies, including going on a multi-state high-speed pursuit with 18 grams of methamphetamines, threatening to throw children out of the vehicle, got into an accident. It wasn't an accident. They were pushed off the road by the police. And then the police let Alicia Bollinger go. They bought her a hotel room. And then she went missing from that hotel room. How much you want to bet some motherfucker there had meth or heroin? How much you want to bet she was spreading her legs for somebody? Who gives a fuck? Whether she was being a dumb little whore or whether she was with a good Christian family having a wholesome fucking dinner. The fact is that people threatened to kill me and my friends and family. For days I had to deal with that. Days and days and days until Alicia was found. While her former friend, Bobby Forrest, wanted to get a hold of me and tell me she was missing. This is the third time since Natalie was killed that Alicia Bollinger went missing. And people were threatening to kill me and my friends and family. And instead of threatening to kill people back, I did my best to help find Alicia Bollinger. Did she give two shits? No, she doesn't. We have taught women in America to have no conscience. We have trained it out of them. We have taught them that men are evil no matter what. Well, then stop asking us for shit. Build your own houses. Clean your own sewers. Weld your own vehicles together. You manufacture the combines. You get out there and drive the trucks. You set up the cement forms and run the screed board. You invest everything that you have into our whims, wills, and wants. You work 7 hours of overtime per week. You want equality? Then give us equality. It's kind enough, in my personal opinion, that if a woman gets a manual labor job where she's only able to carry half of what a man can carry, I think that we are being kind by paying her the same amount per hour. It's a manual labor job. It's a lumper job. And in many of these cases, women are only expected to carry between 1/5 or 1/4 of what a man can. So it's not like we're not making reparations enough for your gender. Good to be rid of you. Thank you for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and your sister's too, and no victim left behind. You notice when these women do horrible things, the men are blamed for it. When men do these horrible things, we blame the men for it. Women are not held, in most cases, to full responsibility. Female teachers who have sex with male students get an average of 8 months. A male teacher who has sex with a female student is more likely to get, on average, 40 years. That's why women are more likely to have sex with their students than men by a lot. Over 20 female teachers this year with sexual misconduct. Over 20 of them. At least 17 of them having sex with their students. Of the 6 men that I was complaining about here in the United States, how 3 of them didn't have sex with students and 3 of them did. I come to find out that those 2 men who did those things, 2 of those 3 men weren't in the United States. Well, then why the fuck are they in American news? Things aren't so bad here that you have to go find male criminals elsewhere, are they? Are we so devoid in the United States of male criminals that we have to go elsewhere? Well, yes, when it comes to teachers, we do. because women are so greatly outpacing the molestation of children in our schools. And not just in our schools. There's also female nurses with the highest body count of any serial killers ever. The highest body count. Specifically, female nurses have killed more people than all other serial killers combined. They've also killed far more children than any other profession. I'm not talking about accidental deaths. I'm talking about female nurses straight up murdering people's babies, newborns. Straight up murdering children with cancer. One of these nurses, what was her excuse for all the babies that she killed? She was killing all the ugly ones. All of the ugly ones. Holy shit. But the ones that don't come out looking like a brand new baby doll, you just kill them? We've taught women that they don't have to be rational. That when they're being irrational and violent, that men are expected to stay rational while having things that could kill them whizzing past their head. Lucky they're good at dodging, or lucky that she never learned how to throw. Meanwhile, he's not allowed to defend himself in any way, shape, or form, or he's going to jail. Meanwhile, even if he doesn't defend himself, if the cops get called, he might go to jail anyway. If 6 months down the road, she gets arrested for drinking and driving with 5 kids in the vehicle, like Harley Richmond did, Dallas Richmond is going to spend a lot of money and a lot of time going through domestic violence classes because she's going to pretend that he's a violent person. Oh no, the only person I saw get violent between the two of them ever was her.